Echo. Welcome you to the NCARC Monday Evening Tech Net. My name's Jim. I will be net control this evening for the net, looking for check-ins. Anyone wanting to check into tonight's Tech Net, please call now.
November 0, Whiskey, India, Quebec, Carrie in Loveland.
Evening, Carrie. How are you doing this evening?
Well, I've been playing with Pi-Star for my D-Star interface, so I finally got it working again, and so I'm doing pretty good. So thank you, and you have a good evening too.
You're welcome. Glad you got it working. There was also a double in there with you, doubling the station with Carrie. Can you please call again? Hey, nothing. This is KA6ET looking for check-ins. Anyone wanting to check into tonight's TechNet, please call now.
Good evening, November 0, Echo Mike Papa, Greg in Fort Collins with Debbie, K0DBE.
Evening, Greg and Debbie. How are you guys doing this evening?
Doing good. Just enjoying the few days of warmth before Thursday arrives.
Yeah, definitely. We are supposed to get another cold snap and possibly more snow from what I've seen. Good. Thank you for checking in. Anyone else want to check into tonight's TechNet, please call now.
This is Kilo Foxtrot 4, Delta Uniform, KF4DUS, 425.
Evening, Mike. How are you doing today?
Other than cold, I'm doing okay. I'm watching a couple of deer in my front yard, a buck and a doe, and they seem to be happy together.
Yeah, it's always good and always relaxing watching wildlife. Thank you for checking in. Anyone else want to check in for tonight's TechNet? Please call now.
Whiskey 2, Mike, India, Charlie, Mark in Loveland.
Good evening, Mark. How are you doing today?
Oh, medium well. I want to officially protest the lack of color in the trees here in Loveland. Everything I'm looking at in my backyard is dingy gray, green, brown instead of brilliant orange, yellow, and red, and I protest.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Everything in my backyard and front yard is just about completely bare now after the wind the other day. Thank you for checking in. This is KA6ETE looking for check-ins. Anyone wanting to check into tonight's TechNet, please call now.
This is George, Alpha Echo 0 GM in Berthoud.
you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
That's good to hear. Thank you for checking in. Anyone else wanting to check into tonight's Tech Net? Please call now.
This is Kilo Zero Papa Romeo Bravo, and with K0LAO Kilo Zero Lima Alpha Oscar. Phil and Luann and Loveland.
Good evening, Phil. How are you and Luann doing today?
Oh, doing well. I actually had the day off, so that was kind of nice. And yeah, I'm with Mark. No color this year. That early frost or early freeze really took that out of our area. That's too bad. But yeah, it's still fall, and I still like the fall.
Yeah, definitely. I like the temperature in the fall. It's nice and cool in the evening and still halfway warm during the day as long as it's sunny and not so windy.
Oh, I get that. I don't like the wind. I don't like it at all. But yep, I like it for the same reason. K0PRB.
Thank you for checking in. K6ETE looking for check-ins. Anyone wanting to check into tonight's Tech Net? Please call now.
Kilo Delta Zero, Yankee Oscar Papa, Scott in Fort Collins.
Good evening, Scott. How are you doing?
Doing fine this evening. It's a good night for some hot soup on a cool day. And my own leaf experience, I went out Saturday thinking I was going to rake leaves and said I'll put it off for a day. By the end of Sunday, I think all my leaves blew to Kansas and there aren't any left, so that's not so bad.
Yeah, I was hoping for the same thing, but I can bring you some of mine. I think all my neighbors blew into my yard.
I think I can do without them this year. We'll see if any of my neighbors end up in my yard.
Yeah, definitely is worth a try. Thank you for checking in. Anyone else want to check into tonight's Tech Net? Please call now.
Alpha Echo Zero, Charlie.
November 3, Fox Tango, Tracy Mobile in Boulder.
Hey, we had a double there. I managed to get one of them out of there. Ben, how are you doing this evening?
Alright, I guess. A little cold, but everything's okay. Hey, easy with you.
I'm glad to hear you're doing okay. Doubling station, can you please come back?
Well, I'll assume it was me. This is November 3, Fox Tango, Tracy, leaving Longmont, leaving Boulder, heading to Longmont.
Yep, that was you. Thank you for checking in. How are you doing today? Other than probably stuck in traffic.
Well, it's kind of cold. I guess when you wear a short sleeve shirt, that's what you get. So I guess I'm glad I blew out the sprinklers yesterday. I don't know if it's supposed to get real cold tonight or not, but it's cold right now.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to get down into the high 20s tonight. But yeah, you can definitely see a front coming in over the mountains right now. At least northwest of Loveland, west of Fort Collins. You can see it coming over. Thank you for checking in. One last round. Anyone else want to check in for tonight's Tech Net? Please call now.
Uniform, Ron in Fort Collins.
Yeah, I got part of that. You cut off the part of your call sign. All I got was uniform and then Ron in Fort Collins. You come back with the rest of your call sign, please.
November Whiskey 0 uniform.
Thank you for that. Got NW0U. How are you doing this evening?
We're raking the leaves that came off my neighbor's trees.
Yeah. Well, thank you for checking in. As we'll get started, we'll take check-ins anytime during the net if you want to jump in to give a comment or ask a question. Begin with anyone have any questions or topics they would like to discuss or hear discussed on the net, please call now. There, nothing. I will bring up a topic I would like to hear discussed, and hopefully some people on here have some experience and knowledge in it, because it is one thing that I know pretty much absolutely nothing about, and that's using a Pi Star or any type of Raspberry Pi. I've been I bought a couple of them and getting into research on uses for them and different things, and want to see what everyone else uses them for and what to do with them. Anyone have any comments they would like to start with?
N0WIQ, a fairly long comment.
WIQ, Carrie, go ahead with your comment.
A little over a year ago, I was introduced to D-Star using a D-Star Commander image on the Raspberry Pi and a DV Mega hotspot. And so, now I'm getting into Pi Star also. But I've used Raspberry Pis, like one I've used for a network attached storage, and another one for a local DNS server on my network. And also I got a page server on my network from a Raspberry Pi also. So between hotspots and the things I've just mentioned, I've got a significant amount of experience with Raspberry Pis.
Definitely. I know I've heard you talk to some people about Raspberry Pis and that, and like I said, I just started getting into them not too long ago, mainly just learning and reading, and bought a couple of them just to eventually start playing with over this winter when it's cold out and can't really do much outside. And one of the big things I'm looking at doing or trying to do is trying to mix modes kind of like you do with the open spots and that, using the System Fusion or D-Star, DMR, being able to set something up to where I can connect to all of the different modes with a single radio essentially, and to allow access to different areas of radio, and setting up APRS display using whether it's APRS CE32 or some type of APRS software like Star Track or something that will track beacons on a map. I just need the interfaces to connect to a radio.
Well, another comment from N0WIQ.
Go ahead, Gary.
Well, I've got 3 ICOM radios. The one I'm speaking on now is an ICOM IC7100A, and it has internal GPS system on it. So does the ICOM IC51D. No, it's an ID51. And it also has an internal, Anyway, personally, I don't go very many places anymore that I would need to use the GPS to get around. But if you want to know about that stuff, ham down in Denver, N0XGA, that is November 0, X-Ray George Alpha, has done a lot of traveling using a GPS and amateur radio, so he might have more information about it. And I know that there's a few radios that do FM and D-Star, or FM and other digital modes, but not very many of them have more than one digital mode.
Yeah, that's what I've found with a lot of radios. I know a lot of them. I don't know of any that have more than one digital mode. You have Yaesu that'll have the System Fusion and the System Fusion / WireZax, their digital mode, or I know Kenwood and ICOM. Well, some Kenwood will get into the D-Star digital, and ICOM does. Other than that, you're pretty much stuck with either a straight DMR radio or DMR analog, or the other ones. I don't know of any that you can do multiple modes with. If you want to do DMR and System Fusion or DMR and D-Star, you're limited on that. I know people that use all the different systems, and it'd be nice to be able to use a single radio to communicate with all of them, whether they're on D-Star, DMR, or the System Fusion. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out how to do and the project for over the winter. But thank you for that. I wrote down that call sign and might get hold of them if I have any questions. Anyone else have any experience or questions regarding Raspberry Pis, Pi-Star, or anything along that, different modes of communications using them, or what they can be used for, or simple projects that beginners can do?
Fox Tango with a comment.
Tracy, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't really have any experience personally with them, but I have a friend at work that's building a controller for a fan for his barbecue smoker. We both cook some barbecue as a hobby, and basically you use a temperature probe and then have it control a fan, so you can get fine control over the charcoal in your smoker by using it. It's a pretty simple software loop there of looking at the temperature and deciding to increase the fan or decrease the fan. Back to you.
and play with. I mean, if you kind of like the Bofang radios, if you break it, you're not out a whole bunch of money. Or if you come up with, end up doing something that you shouldn't have done with it, and it breaks it, you're not out a whole lot, and you can start over fairly inexpensive. Looking for comments or questions from anyone?
Fox Tango.
N3FT, Tracy, go ahead.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of the kit there is out there. Now there's a guy on YouTube that does a video of this something geeks. I can't remember his name. Anyway, something geeks is the name of his channel, and he makes a desktop video game console with using a Raspberry Pi.
I just did a quick search. Could it possibly be Raspberry Pi Geek? I found the website from a Google search, and he's got quite a few different articles and write-ups on it.
Yeah, that might be it. I can't remember. I know it's just I just watched the YouTube where he actually makes the console and does the whole thing. And then just downloads the software, and then it just uses ROMs to, it plays, you know, all these stolen, well, whatever, software of vintage video games.
It's actually one of the articles that I just came across on the website is Raspberry Pi Retro Gaming.
N0EMP.
This website a little bit more in depth. It's raspberry-pi-geek.com. It's just, the Pi is just P-I. Yeah, and definitely looks like a lot of information on there that could be used for different things. And once you have the basics down, everything else is just converting it over for different uses.
N0EMP.
EMP, Greg, go ahead.
Yeah, the next time you're near a Barnes & Noble, stroll through the magazine section in the computer area of the magazines. There's, I think it's an annual, but there's a very thick magazine type book of Raspberry Pi, and I think it's an annual publication.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely check that out. I'll actually be over there. I'll pick something up at the Best Buy in Loveland, which is right next to the Barnes & Noble right there.
Yeah, it's a bunch of projects. Essentially, you can do anything you can do with a computer now, especially with the latest, I think it's the Pi 4, is a very fast and very capable little computer.
N0WIQ.
Yeah, definitely. I find it amazing what computers used to be and what they're becoming now, especially with the Raspberry Pi is without the case essentially, well, the size of a credit card, a little bit thicker, obviously, but I mean, dimension-wise for length and width is about the same as a credit card anymore. And other than storage, I mean, they can pretty much do anything. But heard Carrie in there. Go ahead, Carrie.
Well, there's one caution about a Pi-Star 4 that I really take to heart. The Pi-Star 4, without a case, will run quite hot and lose performance. And then if you put a case around it, it does just a little better. But I put a metal case around it that had a fan in it, and it gets down to 40 degrees C, where it works pretty good. But that's my caution. If you get a Raspberry Pi 4 because it's got two 4K video outputs, it'll run the temperature up running those 4K outputs if you have a 4K monitor. And so it also has a warning light. When it gets too warm, it'll start blinking a warning light, and then you have to shut it down and let it cool off.
Definitely thanks for that tip. I don't want to overheat it and get it hot when it's first out of the box. That would never be good. At least want to be trying something useful whenever it burns up. Thank you for that. Any other comments or tips, please call now.
Oh, by the way, N0WIQ.
Definitely. This is KA6ETE, net control for this evening's NCARC Tech Net. Anyone have any questions or comments in regards to Pi-Star or Raspberry Pis, or any questions in general they would like to ask the net? Please call now.
N0WIQ.
Carrie, go ahead.
Well, by the way, the Raspberry Pi 4 is the first Raspberry Pi they really say is a good replacement for some of the computing processes, because it is enough computer to be a pretty good replacement for a personal computer, because you hook up a keyboard, a monitor, and a fairly decent-sized micro SD card. And then you can use it as a personal computer. But it uses a variety of operating systems, but it defaults to Raspbian. And the current Raspbian is Raspbian Buster, which will run any Raspberry Pi in the past with that also. But hey, that's my comment. And unfortunately, the Raspberry Pi 4 costs a little more than the $35 that you used to be able to get a Raspberry Pi 4. So you just gotta really do your shopping, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's stuff coming up in price, stuff going down in price if you get into some of the ones that are a little bit older than the Pi-Star 4. I know some of them, you still get the 3s for fairly inexpensive, that for a lot of stuff they'll still work. I mean, they obviously, the Pi-Star 4 would do more as far as computing power and digital voice and stuff, just because of the different outputs on them, from what I've seen and read and heard from people. But thank you for that comment. Anyone else have any comments or questions for the net, please call now.
GM.
E0GM, George, go ahead.
Does it matter where you buy your Raspberry Pi from? Are there local sources that are convenient?
EMP.
Greg, go ahead.
There's a company down in Niwot called Spark Fun, SPARKFUN. I think that's all one word, and anyone interested in this kind of stuff should visit them. They have a lot of Raspberry Pi accessories, displays, touch screens, cases, power supplies, a lot of tutorials on their website, and they sell the Raspberry Pis also and all the accessories and things. They also sell a whole bunch of other electronics, including sensors and GPS boards and just a ton of stuff, robotics. So they're a good local source. They don't have a typical storefront. You order off the web. But if you want, after you place the order, it can be, we'll call and you can show up and pick it up at the counter. So that's one place. Otherwise, if you go down to the big computer store in Denver, forget the name of it right now, they carry all the Raspberry Pi stuff as well. It's down by the Tech Center.
Micro Center?
Yeah, that's it.
N0WIQ, a place to go get.
Carrie, go ahead.
Well, HRO has been known to carry ready-built hotspots, and they use the Pi-Star in those hotspots too, because D-Star Commander is basically not supported anymore, which is why I've gotten into Pi-Star in the first place, because it's supported. It's even supported by the Raspberry Pi Foundation to boot. And so, I mean, if you're not into building such a thing yourself, you can go get packaged ones. And like I say, HRO has been known to have some. I've built all my own, so that's me. I've even built my own personal computers in the past. So back to net, N0WIQ.
seen the hotspots and different things available at HRO, but yeah, for Greg's comment, it is, SparkFun is one word. I just did a search on it. Their website is sparkfun.com. It's SparkFun Electronics in Taiwan. Looking at their website, they definitely have a lot of different options and accessories and different ideas. They have a lot of tutorials on their website also with some videos on different things. I'll be going through to see what all of them are about, so thank you for that. Anyone else with any questions or comments for the net, please call now.
GM again.
George, go ahead.
I've been looking at the $50 Nano VNA network analyzer from HF through 900 megacycles. Has anybody had any experience with them? The other one is, has anybody had any experience with the $20 component testers? A0 GM back to net.
EMP.
Hey, EMP, Greg.
I think Dave W0LEV has that VNA, and I think he's been very happy with it. If Mark Clark is still in here, he might be able to confirm that. I also think I just saw something on a forum in the last couple of weeks that they're going to be upgrading that to, I think it's going to be the VNA 2. So you might want to research what that upgrade is before you make a purchase.
MIC.
MIC, Mark, go ahead.
I'm looking at an email that I have from W0LEV. Quote, the one I have received and am very pleased with is the Analytical Assistant N2016SA, and I'll do that phonetically, November 2016 Sierra Alpha. Dave continues, it covers 1 megahertz through 1.4 gigahertz and really does an excellent job of measuring complex impedance in both R and JX and value plus angle formats. Also, it can measure at a single frequency or plot a swept frequency range of SWR in a 50 ohm or 75 ohm system. It can also do vector measurement of S21, basically gain, and by reversing ports the other two S parameters. Measurement cal is stored permanently in the instrument at the SMA connectors and can be extended, coaxial cables, to a removed measurement plane with an SQL cal. Cal standards are not provided. He goes on. He's very pleased with it.
I'll definitely have to look into that and see. Always looking for different test equipment and everything. Does that give you what you needed, George?
Yes, thank you. Mark, can you repeat the name of that? Thank you.
number 2016 Sierra Alpha. It covers 1 megahertz through 1.4 gigahertz.
Thank you. AE0GM.
Definitely. This is Kilo Alpha 6 Echo Tango Echo, net control for this evening's NCARC Tech Net. We have any late check-ins or any additional questions or comments for the net, please call now. There's nothing. I'd like to thank everyone for their input tonight on a topic that I know not much, if anything at all, about, and something I'm definitely interested in learning and been trying to learn about over the past few weeks and months, probably, with everything else going on. Check one last time. Anyone have any questions or comments? Please call now.
Kilo 0 Alpha Romeo Delta with Ann in Fort Collins with a late check-in and a question.
And thank you for checking in, and go ahead with your comment.
Find when I am listening, I miss almost all of the call signs of anyone, but it seems like you are able to hear the entire call sign because you always repeat it back. But I'm only getting usually the last 2 letters. Why would that be?
MIC.
EMP, Greg, go ahead.
Nope, wasn't me, but MIC was in there.
Oh, okay. I just caught the last of it. I hit the push the talk button at the same time someone started talking, and by the time I unkeyed, I just caught the very tail end of the last letter. Go ahead, Mark.
W2MIC, I have an educated guess, and that is that the radio has a battery saver mode enabled, whereby the receiver isn't on full time, but only wakes up every quarter of a second or half a second. And as a result, nearly every transmission, the first part gets lost. So if I were to key up and say W2MIC, and there were a 0.4 second delay on the radio, what would come through would be IC, and the front part of the call signs would get lost. On your radio, in the menus, check into the battery saver mode and look to see if there is a delay. This is a good technique to have your battery not run down so fast, but a very bad problem to have during a busy net.
PRV.
Bill, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're not getting a couple of things confused. So, Ann, when you ask about the last, or like prefix, suffix, prefix type of thing, are you wondering why we are replying or answering with just the suffix, or is it a radio issue that you're referring to?
referring to. I'm pretty sure I usually just get like the last letter. Makes sense what Mark just said. I will definitely check through my manual. It's a somewhat new radio to me, and I'm still learning it.
Okay, great. I just wanted to confirm that you were talking about receiving on a radio and at any time. So thanks. K0PRB.
U and K0ARD out.
Yeah, definitely. And what Mark said, I have had that similar issue with one of my HTs with the Yaesu. I have the VX6R, which is their waterproof submersible radio that also has the battery saver, and I never realized it was turned on and was always wondering why the very beginning was cut out sometimes on people's transmissions. It was just the radio, the receiver waking up whenever it catches a signal or checks for a signal. So, definitely something to check into. We can get some input on that. Anyone else have any questions or comments for the net? Please call now.
AF4DUS.
KF4DUS, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, when I was still living in Virginia Beach, Virginia, I learned not to put the battery save on my packet station because it would clip off, important data that was coming through on the packet. So that would be another reason not to have your battery saver on. It was the basic of the basic of the basic packet station. It was a 2-meter HT, a Mirage 2-meter amplifier, and a 775 ohm TV twin lead antenna hanging in the attic, and I think my TNC was called a BP1. It was plugged into a PC, a 286. But that would be another reason not to have your battery save on. KF4DUS back to that.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that comment. Ooh, one last round. Anyone have any last minute comments or questions for the net? Please call now.
KE0TDD.
I caught part of the call sign, KE0T. Felt like you were muffled a little bit in the mic. You can try again, please.
KE0TDD.
You got that time. Are you late checking or do you have a question?
I was just calling in to tell you guys I can hear you way the heck out here in Roggen, which is about 40 miles east of I-25 on I-76.
I know this repeater covers a fairly good area out across the eastern plains and that. I know it's up on top of the mountain and it gets quite a ways. I know it covers Cheyenne down to Denver and then east very well. But thank you for that. Gives us a little bit of information on exactly how far it's getting out there. Any other questions or comments for the net? Hey, nothing. Like to thank everyone for checking in this evening and adding to the topics and discussion and answering the questions. We look forward to hearing from everyone for next week's net on Monday evening at 6 p.m. Also remind everyone that Wednesday evening at 6:30 is the NCARC Club net. Early check-in starting at 6 p.m. They say 7-3. Hope everyone has a good evening, and the repeater is open for general use.
This presentation was brought to you by the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.